Guys, we are back, and I have no idea what we're doing because we are done with Eminem for now.
Yeah.
So we're just doing some other stuff, and I don't know what's going on.
So yeah, today we're gonna do "Through the Wire" by Kanye West.
Okay, so I know this song. So for anyone expecting like a great reaction video, this will probably be more like a breakdown video.
Yeah, so like you said, we're done with Eminem for now. I mean, there's definitely like deluxe bonus tracks that we haven't got to. We'll get to it eventually, but we've been doing Eminem for a year, literally. So if
hmm
you're interested, go check out. We probably have 90%, 95% of Eminem songs, like
Yeah,
reactions, so check that out.
if you're interested.
So I wanted to start getting into other rap, and I didn't know what to do. For whatever reason, Kanye's "Through the Wire" came into my head.
It was very impressive.
It's the whole story is fascinating. The message. I Kanye's not known to be a great like lyricist, but I actually think he's good on this. You know what I
Yeah, it's a
mean? The
great
lyrics are,
song.
yeah. So, like you said, you know this, so it'll be more of a breakdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, all right, get to it.
So this video is sponsored by Carnivore Snacks. Carnivore Snacks is one of my favorite snacks, my absolute favorite meat snack. They're absolutely delicious. If you've never tried them before, I highly recommend trying them. This is the lamb shoulder. It's one of their newer products, and they have a line of sliders, which I definitely recommend starting with if you've never tried it before because they're absolutely amazing and really delicious. And I'll just show you what the lamb shoulder looks like. So here's the lamb shoulder. You can see the marbling where the meat is. You can see some of the salts on there. They're perfectly salted, not over salted, not under salted. They're really just a really great snack. It's only 2 ingredients. There's grass-fed beef in there and Redmond real salt. And literally amazing. I don't really know what else to say. Like, you really need to try it if you haven't. You will regret it, I promise, if you do not try it. So you can use our coupon code with Smith for 15% off your first purchase, and the link is in the description below. And we're also sponsored by SeatGeek, which is a great website to get tickets, whether it's tickets for concerts, comedians, sporting events, you name it, they've got it. And you can use our promo code with Smith for $20 off your first purchase. And the link is in the description below. And here's some stuff that's going on in our area, which might also be going on in your area at some point. Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and follow us on social media channels if you want to. And that's
So,
it from me.
so this song is this is definitely the first Kanye West song I ever heard. I don't know about you.
Yes.
This
This came out, I think, when I was in elementary school. What year was it?
so it was released on September 30th, 2003. So I was in 10th grade.
I was in 6th grade.
That's funny. So I mean, if you're listening to this reaction right now, I'm assuming you know this song, but obviously the backstory is specifically on October 23rd, 2002, Kanye was in a car accident and broke his jaw. He was like really messed up. Also, the interesting backstory is he was trying to become a rapper and he was doing beats for Rockefeller, and they were like, "Yeah, just keep making beats for us, Kanye. Yeah, yeah, we'll sign you eventually, you know." And it was around this time he might have got signed before, but this was his big breakout into becoming a rapper.
Yeah, but the most important thing is he broke his jaw and he had to have it wired shut. That's why
Yes.
it's called Through the Wire, because he recorded it with the wire, with his jaw being wired shut, and
Yeah.
all of like I guess you could call it like the gear that he had to wear.
Yeah, and you could hear it too. So it
It's hot. So the song came out when I was in 6th grade. I heard it. I had no idea what it was about or why. I had no idea who Kanye was either. So like I had no idea that he was in an accident like that or what through the wire even meant or probably really what they were even saying in the song. I probably just like knew the chorus and I didn't learn what happened until I was probably in my early 20s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. I remember I was like, "There's no way he's actually rapping with his jaw wired shut," but
Yeah.
you could hear it, and obviously through the wire, he samples Shaka Khan through the fire, and that's what's being used in the chorus. And it's interesting. We'll get into it when we play like how the lyrics pertain to his story.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go through the wire.
Yo, G, they can't stop me from rapping, can they? Can they, hop? I spit it through the wire, man. There's too much stuff on my heart right now, man. I gladly risk it all right now. It's a life or death situation, man. Y'all don't really understand how I feel right now, man. It's your boy Kanye Chitter. Shot-town, what's going on? Yeah, I drink a boost for breakfast, an insure for dessert. Somebody order pancakes, I just sip the scissor. That right there could drive a sane man berserk. Not to worry, Mr. Ace to the Izzles back to Wizard. How do you console my mom or give her light support? Telling her son's on life support. And just imagine how my girl feel on the plane, scared as hell that a guy looked like Emmett Till. She was with me before the deal, she been trying to be mine. She a Delta, so she been throwing that dynasty sign. No use me trying to be lying, I've been trying to be signed. Trying to be a millionaire, how I used 2 lifelines. In the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. The doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. I swear this right here, history in the making, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to realize that his jaw is shut while he's rapping that. It really doesn't sound like it to me, only in some words.
I know you could tell in certain words.
Yeah.
And also, so
It like
little
sounds like he's gritting his teeth.
so this is the song that I think he made for Rockefeller, and they were like, "Oh, we got to put this out, right?" Like they liked it. So when he recorded this with his jaw wired shut.
Yeah.
He redid it. Specifically, there's a line where he says, "In the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died." In the original version of the song, he says, "In the same hospital where Big and Tupac died," which it's wrong, which is why he changed it. So when he re-recorded it, I don't know if when he re-recorded it, his jaw was still wired shut or not. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
But it definitely was wired shut.
He didn't just re-record a part and then they just
He
like
might
put
have.
it in
He
there
might have. You could hear
because you kind of lose
the original's out there.
whole like
It
the
sounds similar
the
to me.
whole point of the song really.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's definitely out there. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
I think it's effectively the same. Um all right. So it starts off, he says, "Yo, G, they can't stop me from rapping. Can they? Can they hop?" So G and Hop were two people that signed Kanye early on. I forget
Okay.
the name of the group, but like they got him linked. They were like a management team. They got him linked up with like Rockefeller, like they did the deal
Yeah.
with them. So let's see. I'm on Genius. Let's see if they have. Yeah. G Robertson and Kayambo.
Kiambo, Hip Hop Joshua.
Yeah, they're the heads of hip hop since 1978. That's the name of it. The management and production company that originally signed Kanye in 1998 negotiated his signing with Rockefeller. So
Okay.
that's a little nugget of info. That's who he's referring to there. Then it starts off with the sample from Shaka Khan. Interesting. Kanye got in the accident, had the idea for the song, reached out to Shaka Khan, said, "Your music helped me get through this. Can
Aw.
I please use the sample?" She says yes. Song comes out.
It's a woman.
Shaka Khan, yeah.
I always thought it was a man. I
Really?
don't know why.
That's so funny.
I don't know.
So she says yes, and then the song comes out, and she hates that he changed her voice, that he pitched it up. She was offended by it. She said, "If I knew he would have done that, I would never would have allowed him." Like she was like genuinely mad. She found it,
But like that's what they do when you
especially
like
him.
sample a chorus.
Sometimes, yeah.
Usually.
Kanye in particular, he was really big on that. So she took it as like a personal like
It's
insult.
not an I mean, it's not an insult. It's, you know,
I know.
it just it's
It's interesting.
I don't even know how to explain
Yeah.
it.
So the chorus is Shaka Khan, "Through the fire, to the limit, to the wall. For a chance to be with you, I'd gladly risk it all. Through the fire, through whatever come. through whatever, come what may, for a chance at loving you, I take it all the way, right down to the wire, even through the fire.
So you can tell, like, right down to the wire, even through the fire, is really what resonates with Kanye because I'm gonna assume in his car accident, probably like maybe a little bit of fire there.
I don't know.
Or
I don't
even
know.
even not like when you say you're going through the fire,
Yeah,
like
you're
you're
going
going through
through
like
hell.
hell, yeah.
Yeah.
And then down to the wire, his jaw's wired shut. So it kind of just makes sense there.
Yeah, so this is originally the Through the Fire is a love song, the original. And this is still meant as a love song, but it's him the idea that my jaw's wired shut, but I have to rap so bad and I want my fans to hear this that I'm pushing it through. It's like literally like the lyrics for the chance to be with you, I'd risk it all. So like you probably shouldn't be rapping when your jaw's wired shut. You should probably
Yeah.
rest, but he's like, I'm gonna do it no matter what, just for the chance to make it. You know what I
It's
mean?
also just impressive.
It is.
Like he's like basically like, can I rap with my jaw wired shut?
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it's
he
very
could.
clever. It's niche, and the fact that he built on it. You know, he could have easily been a one-hit wonder and like, oh, novelty song that he did, but you know, he
Yeah.
capitalized on it. Okay, so we get into the first verse. He says, "I drink a boost for breakfast, an inshore for dessert. Somebody order pancakes. I just sip the scissor. That
Mhm.
right there could drive a sane man berserk. Not to
Yeah.
worry, Mr. H to the Izzles back to Wizark. How do you console my mom, or give her light support, telling her son's on life support? And just imagine how my girl feel on the plane skitters hell that her guy looked like Emmett Till."
So I just want to point out the fact that, like, as the song starts, if you know nothing about it, you have no idea what it's even about
Like
because
what
he
he's,
doesn't explain
I
that
know.
his jaw's wired shut. So then he's just like, I drink a boost for breakfast and an insure for dessert. It's like,
You
why?
malnourished.
Like,
Yeah,
that's like, I mean, we were both in rehab. So it's just like, are you in rehab maybe?
yeah.
Because usually you go into rehab if you've been on like a long drug bender and they give you insures because you weigh your BMI is probably like at a 17.
Yeah, you're malnourished.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you go into the song and you're like, why?
yeah, so he needs them because one, he can only drink liquids, right? And then,
Yeah.
so has to be liquid, but also those beef you up. You know, they give you some
Yeah, it has like
nourishment.
calories, vitamins, so on and so forth.
And then he does the play on somebody order pancakes and just sip the scissor.
So
So,
like he can't have pancakes, but like syrup, but then also like scissor, like
yeah.
lean.
And then he's like, it drives him crazy, and he's not to worry, Mr. H to the Izzo's back to work. So H to the Izzo is the Jay-Z song that Kanye produced. He made
Hmm.
that. Oh, I mean, I feel like this goes without saying. Kanye made this beat too. I don't know if I mentioned
Oh,
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, that was like Kanye's claim to fame. He was good at beats. So that
Yes.
was like his most
That's what he
prominent
started as.
a producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like his most prominent thing at that point, at this point when this song comes out,
Yeah.
right?
But he
So
kept trying to break
yeah,
into
we
rap
watched
and no one,
Genius.
yeah. But like
Even,
no one wanted to take him seriously
well,
initially.
that's what I'm saying. Even Rockefeller, who he was making beats for, they're like, yeah, sure, Kanye, and like
Yeah, no. Shrugged him
they
off.
didn't. None of them thought,
No.
and it was actually Dame Dash, not Jay Z, that finally kind of was like, all right, we'll give you a shot, right?
Yeah, but then it goes, you know, consoling his mom when she hears what happens because he's on life support. And then his girl, scared he'll look like Emmett Till. Emmett Till was murdered.
Yeah, so famously in the 50s, the story was that he whistled at a white woman and he was beaten to death. And the famous part of the story is that his mother purposely had an open casket so people could see what was done. And there
Mm-hmm.
was one of the famous black magazines, I forget which one it was. They published the pictures for everybody to
Oh my
see. And
gosh.
it's just a brutalized
Yeah.
face of this kid, right? So that's the reference.
Yeah. And it's also said that they don't believe he really
Yeah, what
did
didn't even
that.
happen.
They don't think that he really did whistle at that woman. She
And
was just being racist and crazy.
which makes it twice as bad, right?
Well, yeah, because
Because,
he was murdered.
well, no, but like not that you're implying otherwise, but even if he did whistle at her, the punishment shouldn't be death. You know what I mean? Like
Well, no, there should be no
that's
punishment
what I'm
for
saying.
whistling at someone.
The fact that it wasn't true is just like
Yeah.
injury to insult to injury.
Well, she
Sorry.
basically effectively had him murdered for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so he says she was with me before the deal. She'd been trying to be mine. She a Delta, so she'd been throwing that dynasty sign.
Wait, but like, what does that mean?
So, all right. So the Delta Sigma, it's a fraternity, a sorority.
Okay.
So I'll break it all down at the end. Um, no use in me trying to be lying. I've been trying to be signed, trying to be a millionaire. How I used two lifelines in the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. The doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. I swear this right here, history in the making, man. So this carry on from the line before about his girlfriend scared that he looks like Emmett Till. So he's still talking about her, saying she was with me before the deal. She'd been trying to be mine. So like even before he got signed, she was there for him. And then so like you were asking about the one of the sororities, Delta, whatever Kappa, whatever it is. There's probably more than one that starts
There's a
with Delta.
lot.
But anyway, Delta, the symbol is the triangle.
Yeah.
It's triangle, right? Not a diamond. Delta's a triangle, right?
I don't know.
In math. You know what I mean? So yeah. So Rockefeller Records is the rock. They do the diamond. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
similar. She had Delta, so she been throwing that dynasty sign. So the Delta
Like
sign
waiting for him to get signed,
and the Rockefeller.
basically.
So it's like a coincidence. He's like just noting like, oh look, she's already throwing the sign up that I'm with Rockefeller, but she was with Delta. So it's just like what's the word I'm looking for, like serendipitous,
Coincidence?
like serendipity. It's like
Okay.
perfect, you know what I mean? Like she's already doing that and I'm with
Yeah.
Rockefeller and that's what you do when you're with Rockefeller. And then he's saying no use trying to be lying, I've been trying to be signed. So that's what we were just talking about, how
Yeah.
he kept trying and trying as a rapper. He's talking about, right? He wants to get signed to be a rapper, but nobody has faith in him.
Yeah.
And then trying to be a millionaire, how I use two lifelines. This is a very clever line.
So I get the one lifeline with the accident. I don't know what the second lifeline is, but obviously it's a tie into like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you get, I thought it was three
You
lifelines,
do.
right?
That's his point.
Oh yeah, he's
He's
on his
only
last one.
yes. So I never even can. My mind didn't go where yours is going. Like, oh, what are the two lifeline? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I don't know what else happened to him in his life.
Yeah. So obviously, when he's saying he wants to be signed, he wants to be a millionaire from being signed. But then, like you just pointed out, it's the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you get the three lifelines, and
Yeah.
he's saying I already used two of them. So, like you just pointed out, he's on his last.
Yeah,
This
like
is his
what
last
is the
shot.
other one?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it's like just shit going on in his life. I don't know if he had a specific thing in his mind that he's referring to. Either way, he's on his last shot, right? He's almost dead. And then he says in the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. So I pointed out before, he initially in the original said Tupac, which wasn't true. It was a different hospital. Um,
So they had to correct that
yeah.
statement.
And then, so it's funny. I forget Rosenberg from Hot 97 back. They were doing the 50 years of hip hop and they were talking about the song. And he talked about how much he hated this line where he says, the doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. I don't know. I think it's a funny line.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because obviously, blood clots from the accident, whatever it was. And then Jamaican saying blood clot. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I don't know. I think it's funny. I don't mind it.
yeah.
And then story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. So in the music video, if I'm not mistaken, they show Kurt Loder, whoever was on MTV News, talking about Kanye's car accident at the time. So that's what he's saying. His story was on MTV, and then
Okay.
obviously the show Making the Band with Diddy was on MTV,
Yes, yes.
and then this right here, History in the Making, man.
Yeah.
All right, so we will pick it up.
We could probably finish it out, right?
Is there
I don't
three or
know.
two verses? If there's only two yeah, there's only two, I think. So we can let it play out.
Yeah, because it goes almost to halfway through the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll finish it up.
Making man, I really apologize to everyone right now if it's unclear at all, man. They got my mouth wired shut for like, I don't know, the doctor said like 6 weeks. I had reconstructive surgery on my jaw. I looked in the mirror, half of my jaw was in the back of my mouth, man. I couldn't believe it. But I'm still here for y'all right now, man. This is what I got to say right here, dog. Yeah. Turn me up, yeah. What if somebody from the shadow was ill? Got a deal on the hottest rap label around. But he wasn't talking about coke and birds, it was more like spoken word. Except he's really putting it down. And he explained the story about how blacks came from glory and what we need to do in the game. Good dude, bad night, right place, wrong time. In the blink of an eye, his whole life changed. If you could feel how my face felt, you would know how Mace felt. Thank God I ain't too cool for the safe belt. I swear to God, driver 2 wanna sue. I got a lawyer for the case to keep us in my safe. My dogs couldn't tell if I looked like Tom Cruise on Vanilla Sky. It was televised. It's been an accident like Geico. They thought I was burned up like Pepsi did Michael. I must got an angel, cause look how death missed his ass. Unbreakable, what you thought they call me Mr. Glass? Look back on my life like the ghost of Christmas past. Toys R Us where I used to spend that Christmas cash. And I still won't grow up, I'm a grown ass kid. Swear I should be locked up for stupid that I did, but I'm a champion. So I turn tragedy to triumph. Make music that's fire, spit my soul through the wire. You know what I'm saying? When the doctor told me I had I was gonna have to have a plate in my chin, I said, dog, did you realize I'll never make it on a plane now? It's bad enough I got all this jewelry on. She can't be serious, man.
I love the way the song ends.
Me too. He's very good at the beats.
But yeah, they didn't cover the actual lyrics, like of Kanye talking in the background,
Yeah.
where you finally, I think there's where you find out what happened.
He explains
right?
it pretty much. Yeah. So, yeah, he's doing it over the course. Now that's making me think, I wonder if he, okay, now that is the first time he's really speaking over the chorus. Okay, so, well, I'll read it. I have Genius open, so I'll just read from there. While the chorus is playing, Kanye says, I really apologize for everything right now. If it's unclear at all, man. They got my mouth wired shut for like, I don't know. The doctor said like 6 weeks. You know, I had reconstructive surgery on my jaw. He actually says we had. That's what I hear. He says we had. He's like, but it says, you know, I had reconstructive surgery on my jaw. So it's funny. It's interesting that he left that in the song where he like corrects, like he makes a mistake, like a slip up,
It sounds
and then
real.
corrects that. It does. It's really cool. Then he says, I had reconstructive surgery on my jaw. I looked in the mirror and half my jaw was in the back of my mouth, man. I couldn't believe it, but I'm still here for y'all right now, man. This is what I got to say right here, dog. Yeah, turn me up. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy. Like, he's basically explaining what happened to his jaw, and then, like, you get the idea. I think at once after the chorus and then second verse, you get the idea of what happened.
Yeah.
Because, like, all he's saying right now is that his jaw is wired shut. And you're like, okay, now that makes a lot of sense, but why?
Yeah, so you're right. If you're listening to the song, you have no clue. Now,
Yeah.
the lyrics on here, it's interesting. It's the lyrics for the music video, right? So if you're watching the music video, you actually do have an idea because it starts off with the intro from MTV saying last October Grammy nominated producer was in a near fatal blah 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 blah. But yeah, if you're just hearing this song, you have no clue what's happening, you know.
Exactly.
All right. So Kanye comes in for the second and final verse. There's only 2 verses. He says, what if somebody from the shy that was ill got a deal on the hottest rap label around, but he wasn't talking about coke and birds. It was more like spoken word, except he's really putting it down. And he explained the story about how blacks came from glory and what we need to do in the game. Good dude, bad night, right place, wrong time. In the blink of an eye, his whole life changed.
So he's literally talking about himself.
Yes.
He's literally saying, guy from the shy, if he got a deal with the hottest rap label, which is Jay-Z's label that he's talking about.
Mhm.
And he wasn't just rapping about like the typical rap stuff, like drugs and girls, but more like when he says spoken word, he's talking like religion, like
Spoken word, like poetry.
okay.
So he's like, and especially very early on, he was very in with what they call conscious hip hop, like Common and Talib
Oh,
Kweli,
okay.
like that type. It was exactly the opposite of, necessarily drug and women and jewelry. It was
Hmm.
like, like
Substance.
yes, and empowerment, like all that. Like they refer to it as conscious rap.
Okay.
Mhm. And then yeah, she's like, so he's saying he got the deal, and he wasn't talking about the traditional stuff. He was doing, the spoken word
Yeah.
poetry, except he's not just doing that, he's really putting it down. So like it is true, Kanye is unique in that perspective. I mean, he's one of the biggest rappers ever, but especially early on, he really was similar to like the Common or Talib Kweli.
Which is funny
Most
because I never really liked Common.
Yeah, I like a handful of Common songs, but I agree. He
It
wasn't
just
my
wasn't for
favorite.
me.
Yeah. So he merged that with like beats that he was obviously making that were like bangers. Do you know what I mean? Like very unique. I mean, that's the story of Kanye's life. Like him or love him, especially current days, he was always unique. You know what I mean? Like even just the concept of the song "Jesus Walks." He talks about that in the
Yeah.
song. The fact that like you're making a hit song talking about Jesus and the rap, like he's always
Song.
interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then also, I remember when Kanye was like first coming up, he was like very, was he like very like Black Power?
So he talks about it here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's talking, because he's saying like in his raps, he's like how like blacks came from glory, and
So George Bush doesn't care about black people,
yes,
all that stuff. Yes.
not that there's anything wrong with being all about Black Power, but I remember that was like primarily what his raps were about. And then I think early on, didn't he have an issue with white people, or am I making that up?
So, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, he talks about this, right? And then
Yeah.
it was a common theme, which you talk about society views black people and white people differently, and then like in the
Mhm.
song "Face It," Jerome get more time than Brandon, right?
Mhm.
So that type of stuff he
I
was
just
always
remember hearing
acknowledging.
that when I was younger. I don't remember where
Yeah.
or what it was about. You know what I mean? You just hear like those rumors
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I don't know.
No, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I would just say that he was very like conscious, and it was important to him that he
Yeah.
was spoke about like, like black positivity and
Yeah.
stuff
Well,
like that.
that's fine.
Yeah. So, and he explained the story about how blacks came from glory, like you said,
Yeah.
and what we need to do in the game. So, yeah,
Like how to make it.
his idea, and like in a positive way, right? That's like his mindset at the time.
Yeah.
And then I like this is very like simple. This the good dude, bad night, right place, wrong time. I don't know. It sounds so good. It's
It's well
just
put together.
it is. So he's a good guy. It was a bad night. He was at the right place at the wrong time. So wrong place, wrong time. Like he was
Hmm.
supposed to. He was where
He
he was
was where
supposed.
he was supposed to go, but it was just not, he got into the accident.
Yeah. And then in the blink of an eye, his whole life changed, which it did.
Oh, that's how long it takes for an accident to
It's
happen.
yeah, but ironically, like it was like the catalyst that propelled his career. Do you know what I mean? Like he had this song which it's like very ironic. You never know the way things work out.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. And then he says, if you could feel how my face felt, you would know how Mace felt. Thank God I ain't too cool for the safe belt. I swear to God, driver two wanna sue. I got a lawyer for the case to keep what's in my safe safe. My dogs couldn't tell if I looked like Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky. It was televised. There's been an accident like Geico. They thought I was burnt up like Pepsi did Michael.
So I don't know what the Mace reference is.
Okay, so yeah, if you could feel how my face felt, you know how Mace felt. So obviously Kanye's face was all messed up.
Yeah.
So there's actually, I guess, I don't know if it's triple meaning. Okay, so Mace, obviously the rapper, and
Yeah.
he's talking about that because the ad lib is Mace and Betha, which is Mace. So Mace got I think his jaw broken. He got into a beef with, it might have been the Wu Tang. I think it was Ghostface. I don't know if there's an annotation here. Oh yes, a brawl with Ghostface Killer and his entourage. Right. So Mace got his jaw broken. right?
Because that's exactly what happened to Kanye. But
Yeah,
like worse than that, because he literally says his jaw is in the back of his throat,
yeah. So
which is crazy.
yeah, it's wild. So it is kind of a double entendre though, like Mace, like the Mace. He's like, if you know how my face felt, you
Yeah,
know how Mace felt. Like, oh my God, my
like
face.
burns. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mace, the rapper, got his jaw messed up.
And then it's awesome that he goes and got too cool for the safe belt.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, based on how mangled he was, he'd probably be dead, 100%
Yeah,
dead.
for sure.
And then saying that the other driver wants to sue
I
and he's got
love.
to protect, which makes me think, like, was it his fault?
So I believe Kanye fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
why?
Overworked. There was the driver that was suing, if I'm not mistaken, tried to say he was on like drugs or alcohol, although the police on the scene they never, said anything about it. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah.
if it's because Kanye was so banged up they didn't even think about it. But
Well, I mean, how could they wouldn't be able to get him to blow into a
well, they
breathalyzer?
could have done a tox on his blood. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Either way, so I love that he says, I swear to God, driver two want to sue. Because driver two, that's so funny because in the police reports and insurance claims, if you've ever been in an accident, like driver one, driver two, like that's how they
Yep.
refer to it. Plus, he's not going to put the guy's name in a song. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's very interesting that that's the phrasing he uses. But yes, the other driver, broke his both legs, if I'm not mistaken, and sued Kanye. I actually don't know whatever happened with that.
Well, if he really did fall asleep at the wheel, he's unfortunately at fault.
It's his responsibility.
Yeah.
But then he says, "I got a lawyer for the case to keep what's in my safe," which is very funny. So
Yeah.
he's saying like, you know. Then he says, "Yeah, my dogs couldn't tell if I look like Tom Cruise and Vanilla Sky. You ever see Vanilla Sky?
No, so I don't get the
Yeah, it was
reference.
a movie Tom Cruise was in early 2000s. So in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, he has like a crazy girlfriend that like intentionally crashes the car and his face gets destroyed. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So like mangled. So again, this is the second ref. First one was Emmett Till. This one is Tom Cruise. So he's emphasizing people with like messed up faces as a result of
And beatings and
whatever it is. Yeah.
harm.
And then he says it was televised. There's been an accident like Geico. They thought I was burned up like Pepsi did Michael. Okay.
So Geico, the insurance company.
Yeah, so when he says it was televised, I think again that might be a reference to like the
It probably made it to, of course, it was on the
like
news,
MTV News. Do you know what I
but
mean?
also it's probably on the regular news.
Maybe it could be if
If
it
it was a
was
big
bad enough.
accident
Yeah, and then yeah,
and a semi-celebrity at the time.
yeah, yeah. Geico is obviously the car insurance company, and then they thought I was burn up like Pepsi did Michael. Now I think me and you spoke about this not long ago, and you didn't know about this
I'm
story.
still not sure.
So back in, I believe it was the 80s, Michael Jackson was doing a
Pepsi ad?
commercial, a Pepsi commercial, and there was like pyrotechnics on there, and it like misfired or Michael was too close to it, and his perm or whatever caught fire,
Oh my
and
God.
he literally got set on fire. Yeah, it
Jesus.
was like a big deal at the time. So that's what he's
Yeah, I
referencing.
never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was before
My
you were
before I
born,
existed.
maybe even me. Yeah. So that's the reference. It was like a big deal at the time.
Was this pre Nose Michael?
It might have been at the beginning or middle of it. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so then he continues. He says, I must got an angel, 'cause look how death missed his ass. Unbreakable. What you thought? They call me Mr. Glass? Look back on my life like the ghost of Christmas past. Toys R Us, where I used to spend that Christmas cash. And I still won't grow up. I'm a grown ass kid. Swear I should be locked up for stupid shit that I did, but I'm a champion, so I turn tragedy to triumph. Make music that's fire, spit my soul through the wire.
So I just have to say, like in our last Eminem reaction, I was talking about how whenever I would try to rap and like see if I could even rap or if I would even be good at it, like everything would just be disjointed and incoherent. That line, look back on my life like the ghost of Christmas past, Toys R Us, where I used to spend that Christmas cash.
Yeah.
That is like the level of disjointed that my raps were.
So I agree that it's so
It feels like it comes out of left field. It's just kind of funny.
so yes, I agree, but it actually when if you inspect it, it actually
Well,
isn't
the
as
next
left field.
sentence works.
Well, it's still not even as left field as
Well,
it
because he's looking back, yeah,
you know
but
what
it's
I
just,
mean?
it's still like,
It's funny.
just like,
I agree. It's
yeah.
funny. So yes, so he's saying he thinks he has an angel looking after him because he could have, should have died and he didn't. And then Unbreakable. What you thought they called me Mr. Glass? So do you know this reference?
No, I just figured if you were glass, you were breakable.
So I mean, yes, there's that. But there was the movie Unbreakable
Oh, I never saw it.
with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson, and the whole. It's actually a great movie. I kind of don't want to spoil. Kind of whatever. It's in the same
I mean, you
universe.
don't have to
Remember
spoil
we
it. You
saw
could just say that there's a guy named Mr. Glass in it
or whatever.
and he's
Remember the
unbreakable.
movie Split that we
Yeah.
saw? So it's in that universe. These were the
Oh.
prerequisite movies. And
Oh.
Bruce Willis says you don't find this out till later on in the movie. He's effectively it's like a comic book. You don't know this. You'd think you're watching a regular movie, and it turns out that he's unbreakable. He literally doesn't get sick. He doesn't get hurt. Like he realizes in adulthood, like, hey, I've never been sick, so he can't be
Took him
broken,
that
right?
long to
That
realize.
they yeah, that there was something unique about him. Anyway, the antagonist in the comic book, which again, it's weird to call it that, but that's kind of the format of it, is this guy, Mr. Glass, who's very fragile, right? That's Samuel L. Jackson's. So he's doing a play on the
Okay.
movie Unbreakable, and the character,
That's a
Mr.
good line
Glass.
then.
Yeah, it's
I would have
very
never known. I would have never known.
yeah. So he's saying, yeah, I didn't die in that car accident. I'm not Mr. Glass, right? I'm more like Bruce Willis's character. Then yeah, he's looking back on his life like the ghost of Christmas past. So yeah, he invokes Christmas there, right? And
Okay.
then he's reflecting, and then he's as a result of the reflection, he's like Toys R Us where I used to spend that Christmas cash. So that's the tie-in,
It's a
obviously.
cute. It's cute.
Yeah. And then he continues on that scheme of looking back to when he's Toys R Us, which again, I don't. So he's doing a double play on this because he says, and I still won't grow up. I'm a grown ass kid. Toys R Us's line used to be, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Yep.
So he's playing with that. And then, yeah, it's just a reference to that. And he says, swear I should be locked up for stupid shit that I did. So that's, to me, that's an even more disjointed line than the Toys R Us even. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
because it goes from a kid to, I should be
But
arrested.
it's not like glaring
I know.
as the Toys R Us.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. I probably should be locked up for some of the shit I did when I was younger and I got away
Oh,
with.
me too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I love the way this sounds, the ending, but he says, but I'm a champion, and it goes with the beat. So I turn tragedy to triumph. So yes, you could say that's what champions do, and he did. He literally propelled his whole career off the back of the accident using this song, and then make music that's fire, spit my soul through the wire.
Which is like a nod to the chorus, but then also how the chorus relates to him.
Yeah, so the make music that's fire. So he makes fire music, like hot, good music, and then through the fire to the sample, and then spits his soul through the wire. And then the very end, which I don't think the lyrics are on the screen here.
He's talking again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit. He says, you know what I'm saying? When the doctor told me I had that I was gonna have to have a plate in my chin. I said, "Dog, don't you realize I'll never make it on a plane now? It's bad enough I got all this jewelry on. You can't be serious, man."
He'll still be able to go on planes.
So yeah, the implication that the metal detector is gonna get set off, and then he's just subtle brag that I have so much jewelry anyway. It's just gonna be another thing that's annoying.
Yeah.
All right, so through the wire.
So yeah, obviously I know this song. I've known this song since it came out. It's really a good and impressive song when you really think about it. Like even not knowing what it was really about when I was younger, I still really liked it.
Yeah,
So it's just everything about it, like the fact that he was in the accident, his jaw is wired shut. He's writing this rap song about the situation, about his life, and also rapping it while his jaw is wired shut is all just, like, really impressive.
and made the beat.
And not
This
sounding like someone with a wired jaw.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Well, I forget, did you say that? But anyway, I didn't believe that his jaw was wired shut when he recorded it, and then like you could hear it if you're listening for it in certain
And he doesn't
words.
sound like Kanye. But
Yes, he does
this
sound.
was one of his first songs,
I
or maybe
know
his first song that ever was a hit. So it's the first song anyone heard of him, so you wouldn't know his voice
that was yeah.
anyway.
No, I agree. It is. It's a classic, a modern classic in my opinion. Yeah, the content, the beat, the sample.
Modern classic.
Yeah.
We're not as young as we think we are. It's effectively a classic. It's about 20 years old.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking like in the context of like I don't know why my mind went to like Mozart and shit for some reason.
Well, that's just classical.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a great song. It was mine, and I imagine most people's first introduction to Kanye. It's very interesting that there's a lot of themes that you hear in this song that he carries on throughout his career,
Yeah.
like you were talking about, like the black empowerment stuff, and
Yeah.
then that
Which is good.
the Delta reference about the sorority. His albums are The College Dropout, Late
Yeah.
Registration, Graduation. Like he follows that college
He
theme.
actually planned that out before he ever became a rapper.
Yeah,
Before he
very.
ever became anything. He was
I
like,
know.
when I have my albums, these are the names they're gonna have, and those were the names that they have.
Yeah, that's not a theory. If you go to
No.
Netflix and you watch the Genius documentary, it's very
Because he
fascinating.
was filming himself before he even got famous. Like, there's literally footage of him planning out the album names.
And he doesn't have one album yet.
No.
It's
But those
wild.
are the names.
Yeah, he's got a crazy mind, It's very interesting. But yeah,
Mhm.
I love this song. I think it's great. And let us know if there's more Kanye or any other particular, because like I said,
Yeah,
we're
like
kind of
what we should react to.
yeah.
Preferably things I haven't heard yet. Not that you would know what I've heard or not, but like,
Yeah, interesting songs.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so definitely check out Carnivore Snacks, SeatGeek, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.